What's up, my brothers? This is Carlos Green with the Men's Power Connect, and we are extremely excited to bring you another episode on the podcast called The Maximized Man. If you want to hear additional podcasts regarding the Maximized Man, and we're talking about your total body and what you need to be doing in order to ensure that you are the best version of yourself, go back and take a listen or a look at all of the previous podcasts. I am joined by my amazing co-host, who is the executive director, the founder of Rehab and Beyond. What's up, Stan? Coach Stan Maddox.
Hello, Carlos. Glad to be here. Men, how are you guys? It's a pleasure.
Good. Stan, give just for those who are just now listening in or want to know a little bit more about you. I love your backdrop of Rehab and Beyond. Give them just a little bit about Rehab and Beyond and what you do at Rehab and Beyond.
Sure, absolutely. So Rehab and Beyond is a nonprofit organization that's founded right here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm the executive director of Rehab and Beyond. The mission of Rehab and Beyond is to provide free therapy to low income, uninsured, or underinsured stroke and brain injury survivors in the state of Georgia, regardless of circumstance.
Mm.
We
And how
provide
long
these
have you,
services every day during the week.
and how long have you been in existence?
Yes, we were formed in 2018, so over a half a decade ago. We've been able to impact over 12,000 lives through our outreach programs.
I absolutely love that. Now, I also want you to credentialize yourself. I don't think people understand how what credibility you really add to this podcast and to the series that we're doing on the Maximized Man. So, can you just at a high level go through all of your credentializing so that men will truly understand that you were made and designed for this podcast?
Sure. Yes, sir. I'll shoot from the hip. uh, First off, I'm a certified health coach that is physician backed. I'm under the Dr. Bill Sears Wellness Institute. I'm one of only 2,500 health coaches in the world. In addition to that, of course, like I mentioned earlier before, I'm the executive director and founder of Rehab and Beyond. In addition to that, I'm a master trainer, master fitness trainer, certified in my abilities. I'm also a rehab trainer that is certified under the NSB, which is National Stroke and Brain Injury Continuum of Care Program. I'm also a rehab trainer that is certified with regards to that. In addition, I'm the author of the book, Make Me Healthy, Make Me Happy. I've been in the health and wellness space for over 17 years now. So, and I don't think I missed anything else. So.
I don't think you missed anything. I wanted to make sure that you did talk about the book as well. And again, I wanted our audience, our community, our men to just truly understand that you are certified, you are credentialized to be an expert in this space. And for you brothers out there, for the Men's Power Connect, our mission is to equip, engage, and empower men in leadership in life. And one of the things that you can do to just ensure that you're at your best is to make sure that you are taking care of your temple. We've been doing this series on the Maximized Man, and I've been thinking about this particular series that we're doing, or session that we're doing today, which is going to be on weightlifting versus cardio. Weightlifting versus cardio. And Stan, or Coach Stan, I've seen men, man, they will go at it with weightlifting and they will lift that weight. And every time they walk past me because they've got so many muscles, I'm like, okay, you won. I will never be like you are with your muscles. Their biceps are like as big as my head, right? It's like, so they are just killing it, just lifting hundreds of pounds multiple times a week. And then you get some men who absolutely love running and love cardio. And they can run from here to China and back and never stop. because I guess their bodies are just so designed and they are so lean and so just, I mean, there's not an ounce of body fat on them because they have been running so much. And so, what is best? That's what we want to discuss today. What is best? Should we do weightlifting or should we do cardio? And I know we've got some statistics, we've got some scripture that we're going to be walking through, and we've got some good discussion that we want to have regarding weightlifting versus cardio. Coach Maddox, I want to turn it over to you and just like ground us in some statistics regarding just some of the weightlifting. Let's just start with that.
Sure, sure, absolutely. So I want to give a statistic on weightlifting, and it's also called resistance training. According to Harvard Medical School, when weightlifting with resistance training twice weekly or more was added to 2.5 hours of aerobic exercise, the risk of dying during the study period dropped by 30%.
So you're saying just adding 2 to 2.5 hours? No, that's with aerobic exercise though. But if you just added resistance training or weightlifting to that, you will actually drop your risk of dying by 30%.
30%. That's a huge number, guys. 100%.
Wow. Okay. So and just instead of just doing cardio where you're just running all the time, or you're doing the workout video with cardio all the time, adding that resistance training or weightlifting training is a significant health benefit and life benefit, correct?
Absolutely, yes, sir. And one thing I want to do too, Carlos, I want to give the guys an idea or some examples of what weightlifting is, what resistance training is, so they'll know exactly, what we're speaking of, the actual part of exercise. Let me just say it that way. So the first one is free weights, right? Classic strength training tools such as dumbbells, barbells,
Hmm.
and kettlebells. You can also do medicine balls or sandbags, weighted balls or bags,
Okay.
weight machines, devices that have adjustable seats with handles attached either to weights or hydraulics.
Hmm.
You can do resistance bands, right? Like giant rubber bands providing resistance when stretched. They're portable and it can be adapted to most workouts. The bands provide continuous resistance throughout a movement. You can also do suspension equipment, a training tool that uses gravity and the user's body weight to complete various exercises. And finally, your own body weight can be used for squats, push-ups, chin-ups. Using your own body weight is convenient, especially when traveling or at work. So I want to just kind of give the guys, those are some examples of some weight lifting or resistance training per se.
Let's put people in environments then with each one of these because there's the gyms that you can go to that will have all of the things that you had talked about at first, like the free weights and the medicine balls, the weight machines, if you go to a gym to do that, which is great. Then, if you're at home, you may have a small gym that's in your home that you could actually do and pick up some weights or pick up some bands that are really easy. And then also, like you said, when you're traveling, if you don't have time to go to their weight facility at a hotel or if you're staying in an Airbnb, that's easy to bring along some bands or some small weights for you to continue doing that resistance training as well as your own body weight, correct?
Absolutely, that's correct. I couldn't
And
say it better.
and then lastly, I would say because of the climate that we live in, or in the spring and summertime when you're out a lot and you are walking or jogging, if you're in a park, there are so many exercises that you can do from a strength and conditioning perspective. Like you can do sit ups and push ups, and you can do all of that while you're in the park doing walking or running, correct?
Absolutely. And I'll share this quick story. You kind of stimulated this story from just saying what you just said. Back in 2020, of course, we knew the world was shut down, and with that, gyms were shut down as well because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, prior to that, just going to the store, any sports authority store or something like that, Walmart, they even have their own sports section there. I purchased some dumbbells. So I have my own personal dumbbells. I kept in the trunk of my vehicle, purchased a mat, kept the mat in my vehicle as well. And I went to the park. I went to the park and just found me a space, and I did my resistance training there. Again, at the time I was a member of two other gyms, outside of my own facility, and both of course the gym facilities were shut down. But the the exercising was not going to stop. I mean that guys, we cannot stop that. We have to do that. So you just have to in life. If you run out of resources, you become resourceful.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Can you say that again? If you run out of resources.
If you run out of resources, you have to become resourceful. 100%. So you'll find other means. If you have the desire, you'll find other means to get it done. So I actually had to get it done that way, Carlos. And I want to just kind of chime in on what you just said. So yeah, those are various places that you can go work out. You can get some resistance training in. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a gym. And just like you said, Carlos, at an Airbnb, you can take some of the equipment. The bands are great. Push-ups, squats, those are great. Those stimulate that muscle tissue growth, which is needed. Strength is needed.
So let's continue on in the whole weightlifting and strength and conditioning and resistance here. Like, how long should we be doing that resistance training? If because I know some people are like, well, I can do weightlifting and resistance training, and I'm going to be in the gym for an hour and a half lifting weights, or an hour lifting weights because I am trying my best to build as much muscle as I possibly can, or I'm going to be doing it 4 to 5 days a week, lifting weights for like an hour to an hour and a half. And you have people doing that. I would love to get your recommendation on someone who we just want to be fit. We want to be in the best shape of our lives. We're not trying to win the competition. We're not doing that. But what we are doing is trying to make sure that we're the best version of ourselves when it's talking about weightlifting or resistance training.
Sure. So a lot of times what happens is when we get ready to put a workout regimen together for weightlifting, and just like you just said, Carlos, okay, an hour and a half in the gym, 2 hours in the gym, etc. Okay, I got to get a workout buddy, etc. A lot of times that can that can work against what you're trying to achieve. Okay, let's be honest here. A lot of the guys that are listening to this, we have other responsibilities other than the fact of just going to the gym. You have a
Hmm.
family, you have a job you have to be responsible for. You have other things you have to do throughout the week. So time management is very important. Time management will guarantee a consistent regimen
Hmm.
and you following through with it. Because what happens is if you're spending too much time, and I'm gonna give you the worst case scenario here. Okay, you get
Sure.
one of your buddies that you went to high school with, and you say, okay, great, let's go. We're gonna go to the gym and we're gonna be workout partners, and we're gonna meet 3 times a week, and we're gonna work out for an hour and a half. Well, what will potentially happen is if you and your buddy get in there, y'all went to high school together, y'all might lift, do a couple of sets, and then you start talking about the good old days. So
Yes.
now what was turned into an hour and a half workout now is 2.5 hours. So about 2 days into that, maybe 3 days, you might get good away with 3 days. You're gonna look at him like, man, I'm spending too much time in the gym. So time management is very important. So Carlos, you asked me a question earlier, like what's the time frame you should be in the facility lifting weights? I would say no more than 60 minutes. No more
At
than 60
max,
minutes
60
at
minutes
max.
max.
At max, because this is what happened. Here's a science behind it. So what happens is when you're lifting weights and you're in that gym for a certain period of time, you're going to peak as far as lifting, getting stronger, and basically what you're doing is you're tearing down the muscle when you're weightlifting, but you're at a peak state, and generally around that peak state, going up as far as advancing and getting stronger. Around an hour or so, if you're past that, now you're starting to decline.
Mm.
So you're putting too much stress on your muscles. Now we're tearing them down because you get to a place there, your muscles fatigue, and you're thinking you got to go in there and just rushing. You got to get it. I got to get it done. I got to be in here a long period of time. But you're not making any. You're not making any gains, is what we like to say. You're not getting stronger. Your body's not developing how it needs to. So when we get stronger, when the body gets stronger, when that muscle develops, or you grow good muscle tissue girth, that's when you're sleeping. It happens away from the gym. It
Mm.
happens when you're resting because in the gym, your goal is to put enough stress on that muscle that it knows when it comes back the next time, it has to be stronger to withstand it. That's how our bodies are made. We're adapting individual organisms. That's how we adapt. So when you put your body in an environment to where it has to be stronger, that's when the muscles will build. So you go into the gym and
Mm-hmm.
you focus on resistance. You focus on that resistance being more than what you would normally do. And I actually have a whole section on this in my book, Make Me Healthy, Make Me Happy, going into the percentages of what a man needs to the weight versus his own body weight, what he needs to do in the gym to stimulate that muscle growth versus, destroying it or not getting the gains that we need.
I love
So,
that, Ben.
yeah.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Sure, sure. No, but basically, it's a lot of us will think that the bodybuilders that you see, Ron Coleman, the Arnold Schwarzeneggers, so many other guys that are out there, professional bodybuilders that done it on a high level. And again, we're not trying to get to that place. We want to make sure that we're strong. But the way those guys built muscle, they didn't go in there and just kill themselves in the gym. One of the most effective workouts that I've seen over the years, and I've done several, is what I call like that powerlifting workout to gain strength.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you can do that is, guys, is you go into the gym. You say even before you get there, say, okay, I'm going to do 4 exercises. I'm going to do 4 reps of each exercise, and I'm going to do 5 to 8 reps on each exercise or each set. So I'm going to give you an
Okay,
example.
so let's take the dumbbells then.
Sure, absolutely,
I'm
yeah,
doing 70 pounds of dumbbells. Okay, what
yeah.
do I do there?
Well, that's some heavy dumbbells, Carlos. You're a
Okay,
strong
let's
man.
do that.
70.
I'm not doing 70. Look at me. I'm not doing 70. Let's do 50.
Oh, okay. So let's say if we're doing arm curls,
Arm curls.
arm curls. Okay. So let's say we're building our biceps. So let's say if we go in, guys, and let's say we start with 25-pound dumbbells
Great.
each arm, right? So before you go in there for that particular set, one set of arm of dumbbell curls, right? That's 4 repetitions we're going to do. Excuse me, that's 4 sets we're going to do of that particular exercise. So for the dumbbell curls, we're going to do 4 sets between 5 and 8. So the first set of those 25-pound dumbbells, we're going to do 5 sets, 5 reps, 5 repetitions. So we'll do
One,
5.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes,
Done.
sir. Thank you, sir. And so once we do that, we take a break. We rest. How long is a break, Coach Dan? Give yourself maybe about 60 seconds, maybe a minute, maybe a minute and a half, maybe, right? But just enough to kind of, let your body rest just for a second and get right back to that next set. Okay. Now set number 2, we go right back to it again. 25-pound arm curls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, you can do 8. You can go up to do 8 reps if you decided to, right? By the time you get to that second set, you can go, if the weight's a little bit too light for you, you can go 5 pounds up. So
Okay.
now let's pick up some 30-pound dumbbells. Doing sets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, resting in between for about a minute, minute and a half. And then finally do your last rep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can do 8 reps of that on that last set. So that's one exercise out of
So
the
I'm done
4
with
that
my
you're going
arm
to do
curls
in the
then.
gym.
I'm done with my arm curls
Yes.
and my stance of arm curls. I've done that and I'm done with at least that round or rep.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
You're done with that exercise. So
That
you give
exercise.
yourself 4 exercises to do, and
Okay.
you're going to complete 4 sets of each exercise And I guess the submission of that is for you to do anywhere between 5 to 8 reps of that set, and you follow that system, you'll be able to complete 4 exercises for that day, and you're out of there in 60 minutes.
And
You're
then
out of
once I do that, when should I go back to the gym, or when should I go to my home gym and do that again?
I train every other day.
Every
So
other
give my
day, 'cause you need to give your body rest.
need to give your body a rest, absolutely. And as far as the body part is concerned, so let's say on Monday you work arms, you're gonna go back again on Wednesday, but on Wednesday you're gonna stay away from arms. So you're typically gonna give your body some time to rest, maybe 48 to 72 hours for that muscle part to rest. But you're
Mm,
back in the gym after you've rested for one day. So every other day you're able to go, but you're doing another body part. You do legs, maybe you go into chest or triceps, which is the back of your arms, shoulders. So you have other body parts that you can work, but you want to typically give that body part about 48 to 72 hours before you touch it again. What you're doing is you're able to tear down that muscle when you're in the gym, but now you're giving it 48 to 72 hours with the proper food, nutrition, etc., and rest for it to grow and to get stronger. Because
mm.
once you go back, the muscle's like, okay, well, I was lifting this weight the last time I was here 72 hours ago, so now I need to be stronger. So that's how the muscle grows. So that's kind of like the science behind it.
Well,
But
here's
guys, I was please
no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
But it's very important. I want to say this again, Carlos, and for the men that are listening. For years, I've trained for years. I was a young man in the gym, I guess about a couple of weeks ago, and he asked me, "Well, how long you been doing this?" And he was just asking me for some advice, etc. Because he's trying to get to a certain weight, strength, etc. I said, "I've been doing this over 20 years." Consistently, not even a break in between. I mean, this is a long road. This is a marathon,
Hmm.
not a sprint.
Hmm.
So, guys, you want to put yourself in a position where something that you're going to do is so time management is very important. I mean, and again, I'm not going to belittling having a good workout partner. If you got a partner in that has the same mindset as you, or if I was your workout partner, oh, we're done in 60 minutes. We're done, and we're doing everything that we need to do. We're going to rest. We're going to have the proper rest, but we're out of there. So you can go ahead and then do what you need to do because all of us have responsibilities throughout the day.
I can see some men going in, or I travel very often, and I'll go to the gym and I'll know what I'm going to do because I've got the system down. But I see men walking into gyms and they're like just kind of perusing different exercise equipment and not quite knowing what they should be doing or how they should be doing it because they see the equipment, then they see the dumbbells and all of that. What would you recommend that if you're traveling or if you're just getting started or walking through or you want to change up your regimen to make it more consistent and disciplined and knowing what you're doing when you walk into a gym because you don't have a coach or a Coach Maddox, what would you recommend people to be consistent and disciplined in what they are lifting when it comes to resistance training?
Well, first off, I would definitely suggest, buy my book, Make Me Healthy, Make Me Happy. I cover sets and how you can put sets together. We have a lot of diagrams there as far as how you need to do these certain exercises and workouts and stuff like that. Also, guys, and I want to give the story real quick. So a couple of days ago, I had an issue with my garage door opening. So it was giving me some issues. It kept closing when it wasn't supposed to, or opening, etc. So I went to YouTube and I typed in the brand name of the garage door opener that I have, and just a question: Hey, I'm having a problem with my garage door closing when it's not supposed to. And all of a sudden, all these videos came up with maintenance guys saying, "Hey, you can do X, Y, Z," and I was able to repair it. I was able to fix it. So, in saying that, YouTube University—that's a word that I like to use a lot. You can go on YouTube and you can find a fitness enthusiast, maybe somebody that is similar to where you're trying to be, that is doing a certain exercise regimen. It's so many out there. and you can get some ideas on how to do certain exercises and stay creative as far as what needs to be done as far as strengthening certain parts of your body. So I would suggest those would be my two suggestions.
Well, I appreciate that. For me, I like to be planned and prepared before I walk in. I just don't want to just get up and like just go to the gym. I want to have my plan ready to go so that I'm prepared so I can maximize my time. Time is a precious commodity, and I just don't want to be floating around either at home, gym, or outside. I want to know what I'm going in for and be very intentional about what that looks like. And so I appreciate you giving us some recommendations regarding that.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Can you just
And
talk to as we close out this particular section of weight training resistance, give us some of the benefits then that we can experience by doing resistance training or weight training?
sure, absolutely. And I've got a few that I've got written out here, right?
Sure.
Health benefits of weightlifting and resistance training. Okay. Improve muscle strength and tone to protect your joints from injury, right? Maintaining flexibility and balance, which can help you remain independent as you age. So I want to cover that, guys. Again, uh, my facility, we service a lot of people that are stroke and brain injury survivors. We also service a lot of people that may be more seasoned, maybe don't have uh, good balance as far as walking and stuff like that. So what can potentially happen is you can fall.
Mm,
So so with that, being strong is needed. You need to be strong. That actually helps those fast twitch muscles, the reflex of as you're falling, be able to raise your arm up to brace yourself, take your head,
mm.
think of nature before you hit the floor. Those are more. I'm gonna keep going. I just want to kind of cover that too.
Sure.
Weight, weight management, increase muscle to fat ratio. As you gain muscle, your body burns more fat when at rest. So you gain muscle, and it actually your muscle benefits you and assists in burning fat from your body. May help reduce or prevent cognitive decline in older people. So we have a I guess a epidemic right now. You hear a lot of people having dementia and Alzheimer's and things of that nature. And one of the first recommendations when a person is going through that is resistance training. It's working out. That can actually slow the progress of dementia and Alzheimer's. Greater stamina. As you grow stronger, you won't get tired as easily. Prevention or control of chronic conditions such as diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, back pain,
Mm,
depression, and obesity. Listen, guys, I'm telling you, when you go in there and lift weights, it releases a hormone that is an antidepressant, right? It's like endorphins. It releases endorphins that are antidepressants. Let me say. So that's one of many benefits from weightlifting. But again, as far as diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, back pain, stuff like that, it can assist in that. Pain management, assist in pain management, benefit of work of weightlifting. Improve mobility and balance. Again, I spoke about that a little bit earlier. Improves your posture. You know, your shoulders, you're doing shoulders and back exercises. Because again, as we continue to age, you see a lot of the older guys, they might maybe have the shape of the lowercase f. They're kind of
yeah.
hunched over a little bit.
Right.
Out, it fights against that.
Mm, I like it.
Yeah. Decreased risk of injury. Again, I spoke of that a little bit earlier today. Risk of falling and stuff like that. These are things that we need to be mindful of as well. You know, falling and things like that. And I'm gonna tell you like this. I want to just chime in like a couple more bullet points. But again, guys, if you're at the house and maybe your wife or kids need you to open a jar to eat something out of, you need to have some good grip to open the jar.
Yes.
How embarrassing it would be if your wife brings you a jar she can't open and you can't open it, and then and everybody's sitting there looking at each other like, wait a minute.
Like break the glass then, right?
Right. I'm not saying it's not possible because sometimes
Right.
you have some defects, but I'm just saying, guys, you want to be in a position where people in your family say, "Hey, I can't open this up. Let me go take this."
Hmm.
My husband, my father, etc. So you got to have that grip strength. Might be a situation where you have a fire at the house or something like that. You need to be strong enough to get your family out of danger. What if
Yes.
your daughter or your wife has a flat tire? You got to come change a tire. Tire weighs more than 25 pounds. So you got to be
Or
able to
when you're
lift this.
loosening those lug nuts or putting, and I know you may have the bar to be able to do it, but you still want to have the strength to be able to change that tire. Uh, so I get it. I
Absolutely.
completely understand.
Great point. Great point, Carlos. Absolutely. So I'm a couple of other ones here, and I kind of
Sure.
went through them. I like to kind of went through them a little bit from the hip. Again, increased bone density and strength, and reduces the risk of osteoporosis.
Mm.
So even with that, if you take a fall, you hear a lot of people that don't have a lot of good muscle tissue girth. If they take a fall, they're gonna break something. Maybe shoulder, arm, etc. They're gonna break a bone. But when you're working out, your bones have to continue to develop a good density, a good strength. They have to be sturdy because okay, we have a certain amount of weight on us, so we've got to stay strong. If you're not challenging your body in that way, so the bones like, okay, well, I don't really need to be so dense. I don't have to be that because I'm not having to deal with a certain amount of weight on myself. So that's what happens. So the bones are not as strong.
Would you recommend then that as we get older, though, the strength and conditioning does become even more important? It's not like you need to be lifting 100 pounds every time, but you need to be, I would recommend that someone stay consistent and disciplined with some level of strength and conditioning and resistance training. Can you speak to that?
Guys, I don't want to be very blunt on this, but I do.
Yeah,
you
that
should
is
you should
important.
absolutely you should weight lift. You should be weightlifting and doing resistance training until they throw dirt on you and put flowers on your side.
Mm,
This should never change. But again, like Carlos said, no, you don't have to go in there and lift like a power lifter, but you need to focus on having some form of resistance training on your muscles, something that a weight that you wouldn't normally do if you were just doing some day-to-day activities.
yeah.
You need to do that throughout life, and guaranteed it will increase your longevity. It will increase your health 100%.
If no one takes anything else away from this podcast, I love what you just said. That should be part of your rhythm e- for your entire life. Some level of resistance and weight training that should be part of your regimen. Correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct. There's no expiration or date on this.
Okay, great. So those are the benefits that you covered there
Yes, that's
on
correct.
that.
Yes.
All right. So we talked about weightlifting and the benefits there. You gave us some statistics on that. I'd love to just, for the last section on this, is to talk about cardio too. We talked about that guy that can run to China and back, nobody fat on him at all. And cardio is good for you. It is good for you. So I'd love for you to just kind of like talk through like what are some examples of some cardio exercises and then the benefits of cardio. And then we'll talk about how do we combine the two or which one
Sure.
is better.
Absolutely. And the way I want to start this, I want to give you a report from the American Heart Association. The AHA, which is American Heart Association, reports that active people with high blood pressure, high cholesterol levels, and chronic diseases like heart disease are less likely to die prematurely than inactive people with these conditions.
Hmm.
So with that, I want to kind of give you some examples of some cardio exercises so we'll know exactly where we're going at here, guys. So one example, power walking. Starting a power walking program can help you stay active, improve longevity, and assist with weight management. Also running, rowing, cycling,
Mm.
swimming, jumping rope, boxing, or stair climbing. Those are examples, some examples of cardio exercises.
So, can I say one thing, and then I want to give you an example of another with cardio. My wife is a runner, and she runs several marathons, and absolutely love her doing that. So I wanted to take up some running to just kind of be on the same page with her. We can share in that exercise. We can do that. But when I first started running, I didn't take serious the equipment that I needed to get in order to run well. So I just threw out some tennis shoes and I could start running. But with that, knees started hurting, shin splints started developing because I didn't invest enough money in getting and going to get educated on the appropriate equipment I needed so I could maximize my running. So I went to the store. I had my feet examined and then got the recommended shoes and the insoles that would be appropriate and got information on the best way to run. 2 weeks later, no knee pain, no shin splints. It was like freedom came. And so I'm just saying, yes, we can do cardio, but I want to make sure that we as men, we're investing in the right equipment so that we can maximize our cardio experience.
Listen, I totally agree, Carlos, and kudos to you for doing that, for handling it in that manner. I talk to my clients all the time as far as instructions on jogging. I actually cover this in my book as well. I have a section in there I talk about how you prepare for jogging. And Carlos, what you just said is one thing that I suggest. What you have on your feet is very important. Mind
Mm,
you, you have to understand your feet. You're getting ready to put your feet in a position where they're carrying all of your body weight in a particular pace, and it's a ground and pound type scenario. So you've got gravity involved, and also you got your own weight. So it's a lot of poundage on your joints and things of that nature. And if you're not equipped, you don't have the right equipment, then it's going to give you some issues. And if you get injured, then now it's a place that you're not going to be able to jog. You're not going to be able to perform that particular exercise. So
mhm.
I totally agree with that again. And guys, I do not believe in financially skimping on what you put on your feet. So you're not going to this old discount place and just putting whatever on your feet and thinking you're going to jog. You will get yourself hurt. Shin splints, joint issues, etc. The whole nine. Take care of your feet.
I tell you, I was like, what is going on? I know I'm getting older, but why is it so difficult for me to just get out of the car or just to stand up and start walking naturally? Literally, when I changed my shoes, got professional assistance to help me, all of those issues went away. And I feel great now when I go running or walking or jogging, whatever that exercise is, as it's relating to cardio, because I got the right equipment. Okay.
Yep. That's
Awesome. So let's talk about the benefits of cardio then.
sure, absolutely. So benefits of it. I got these written down too, guys. Keep excess pounds at bay. So if you're doing cardio, that extra weight, it keeps it at bay. Controls it.
Mm,
It increases your stamina, fitness, and your strength. It wards off viral illnesses, reduces your health risk. You can manage chronic conditions, strengthen your heart, keep your arteries clear,
mm.
boost your mood.
So you talked about in strength and conditioning that it was an anxiety or a depressant, or depressive. It removed depression, or at least helps you not to be depressed. And now you just talked about cardio also boosting your mood as well. So both of those, the resistance training and the cardio, have that benefit of altering your mood in a positive manner to do that.
That is correct. Both exercises release those endorphins that are antidepressants. Both. That's going to be
Antidepressant, that's
weightlifting.
what I was looking for.
Thank you, man. You helped me out with a bunch of words that I've destroyed.
Now, there's a lot of cardio exercises we talked about, and there's some benefits to each one of them. Which one would you recommend someone to do if you had to select any of these cardio exercises?
Guys, if you don't have joint issues, and I mean by joint issues, I mean knee issues,
Hmm.
hips,
Yep.
etc. If you
Right.
don't have those, the best cardio exercise that I recommend is jogging. Jogging is the best out of all that I named. Best cardio exercise. That's the one that I would recommend. If
Why
you
would
don't,
you recommend jogging?
well, one thing that jogging does is it puts your heart in what's called an aerobic state. So your heart is at your BPMs, your beats per minute, are going to be elevated. And generally, I would like to say you want to have about 75% of your maximum BPM. So again, you don't
Okay.
want to go out there trying to tear out a run like Usain Bolt. It's not about that because he runs short periods, right? But when you're jogging, this is focused on a more of a longer distance, you know, movement where your heart rate is slightly elevated. So what happens is when your heart rate is slightly elevated with that movement, it actually promotes the dilation of your arteries, which causes for your blood to flow freer through those arteries, which in turn aids in lowering your blood pressure. While all of this is going on, your full body is moving because gravity is taking place too, right? Because gravity is
Hmm.
pulling you down. So now you have to move and out, up and out, meaning in a jogging manner. You have to do that for an extended period of time. So I would definitely recommend that as an aspect because it's almost like your engine is running if you're going on a long trip or
Mm.
you're that alternator. Your alternator is actually and to kind of give you guys, and I know a lot of our guys know, but some of us don't know. If you fire up your engine, that engine is going to charge up with the battery. Where at that point, the battery's job is done. The alternator is another mechanism in the car. It takes over. It keeps that car running for a long
Mm.
period of time. So if you're jogging, you're strengthening your heart. Your heart is what I would say is probably be what is compared to that alternator. You're strengthening your heart up more with that jogging aspect. So that's definitely another reason why I say jogging is the best cardio exercise.
I absolutely love that. And so, man, I hope you're listening to that. That's why I wanted to do this series with Coach Stan Maddox. That level of detail and information as to why jogging is important for you is priceless at this point. I would love to just let's talk through cardio versus strength and conditioning.
Okay.
Which one would you prefer? How do we do it? Just to make sure, because some men like, I love cardio. I can get out there and I can run all day long. Some men like, I just want to wait because I want to build that muscle mass. I want to make sure that, I'm the mini version of Arnold Schwarzenegger, whatever. What would you recommend, Coach Stan Maddox, for us to be in the best shape of our lives, not winning a competition, but we're really treating our bodies well?
Sure. So even before I answer that, Carlos, I want to give you a story real quick. I've got to get a story, and I
Please.
think this story this story is going to be relative to our guys that are weightlifters, don't really like to jog, or maybe our guys that don't work out at all and still don't like to jog. Again, I said that the cardio exercise that I prefer or I recommend would be jogging.
Hmm.
I remember years ago when I first started jogging. I remember I was involved in this close quarters combat training camp, and the lieutenant at the time, which was my master instructor, I was getting ready to go to a certification program down in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, up under this particular umbrella of this close quarters combat certification. So my lieutenant, which is here in Atlanta, wanted to get me to the place where I could jog. I wasn't a jogger. I was that guy. I lifted weights for years, but I was not the guy that was the runner. I didn't jog. So my lieutenant said, he said, okay, look, Stan, what we're going to do is we'll meet at my apartment, which he had an apartment in downtown Atlanta. He said, you drive to my apartment, and from there, we're going to run or jog to the facility, which is about 3 miles away, and
Mm.
then we'll train for an hour. So our regimen was twice a week
Okay.
to meet at his apartment, and we were going to jog 3 miles before we started our 1 hour training session up under the close quarters combat certification program. So I remember the first day, guys. Again, not the best shoes. Carlos mentioned that earlier. And this was my first day jogging. It was a nice day out. And again, we were jogging down, through Atlanta, through downtown Atlanta, a lot of traffic lights, etc. But again, my lieutenant, he's been running forever. So I remember we took off, and I'm already excited about it. So I'm anxious. My heart's up, higher than it's supposed to be anyway. And we started jogging, and I want to say about 2 minutes into this jog, and every step my lieutenant got farther and farther and farther away from me. And I'm sitting there, I'm breathing sporadically. My breathing's not controlled. And I'm just praying for a red light, just praying for a red light. So we get a red light. I said, okay, God, we can stop for a minute. So we stopped for a minute. And I swear that was one of the fastest red lights I could think of. I think it turned back green in it felt like 3 seconds to me. It was probably longer than that, right? But I'm sitting there breathing out of control. And this was a hard run. And I was just in this run maybe 5 minutes. Again, we got 3 miles to achieve here. So we kept going. We kept going. So I jog a little bit. Now at this point, I got to walk a little bit because I'm gassed. I'm gassed, man. So, and at this point, my lieutenant, he's just leaving me. I mean, I see him he's just disappearing in front of me. This guy's running so fast. So all of a sudden, he looks over his shoulder and he sees how far I am behind him, and he jogs back to me. And he's like, hey, Stan, how you doing? And while he's talking to me, he's jogging in place. Now I'm walking. I'm tired now. He's jogging in place while he's talking. Hey, Stan, are you okay? I said, I'm breathing, trying to get it out. Hey, yeah, I'm okay. My shin splints. My shins are hurting. I can't catch my breath. He's like, well, okay. Well, we've got a ways to go, so I don't want to be out here too long. I'll meet you at the facility. Boom, he takes off.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious. Carlos, guys, I'm going to tell you, that was one of the toughest runs because I had to jog a little bit, I had to walk a little bit. Now, mind you, my lieutenant, he's gone. He left me. Walk a little bit, run a little bit, rest a little bit. Now, finally, I made it. And again, the class had probably been 20 minutes in, so they were already in that training. So as soon as I got into the class, I had to go right to training. And
Wow.
I'm so out of breath. It was one of the worst experiences that I had in jogging. But one thing I vowed to do after that day, I said, no matter what, I'm not going to stop jogging. I'm gonna figure this thing out because I don't like to be beat. I didn't like that. I didn't like myself being in that place. So I said, you know what? No matter how long it takes me, and one of the sayings I always have, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. Yep. So what I would do is I would go by myself without my fast running lieutenant, right? And I would jog a little bit. Then I would rest a little bit. I walk and I jog and I walk and I would jog until I got to the point to where I was able to consistently jog a certain period of time. And mind you guys, what I did, that same trail that I talked about, going to my lieutenant's apartment and jogging 3 miles, I kept that going twice a week. I did it twice a week, whether he was with me or not. And a lot of times he wasn't with me. I said, look, I'm going to just keep doing this. And once we finish training at the facility, just drive me back to my car at your apartment. And that's what I did. Long story short, guys, I went through a bad situation, a bad experience when I first started, shin splints, getting tired, getting left. It's kind of embarrassing the whole nine, but I did not stop. I didn't quit. So now jogging to me is an exercise of cardio that I love to do. It's one that I really recommend doing, but I got comfortable at it because I didn't stop doing it. So
Hmm.
I'm saying this to you guys, weightlifters and guys who haven't jogged before, just go try it. You're not going to be perfect at it the first time. You may gas out like I did, but you keep going. Get yourself to a place where you can jog consistently
Hmm.
for a long period of time. And then at that point, your breathing will get more relaxed. You'll get more relaxed and you'll want to do it more and it'll benefit you more, right? So to answer your question now, I know, Carlos, you got a question?
No, and the only thing I was going to say is that one of the lessons that I lifted from your story was the intermittent jogging. That I don't want men to go out there if they're not jogging already, that they're going to go out there and run 5 miles or 5K or just straight. I love that you can do the intermittent jogging until you can get the stamina enough to run that distance. So run, walk at your pace. And as you're doing it on a consistent basis, that run is going to increase because your stamina is going to increase and your breathing is going to get better and your heart is going to get stronger to be able to, and your body will be able to get stronger as well to be able to handle those long distance jogs. And when I'm talking long distance jogs, I'm literally not talking 20 miles. I'm talking 3 to 5 miles that you're out there jogging. And so that's what I lifted from your story.
Absolutely. And guys, I'll add a couple of things to it as well. It doesn't have to be 3 miles. We can
Hmm.
start at a half a mile.
Hmm.
And if you go to like any public track at a high school or something like that, a half a mile is 2 laps of a regulated track, right?
That's
So
good.
yeah, so you can start there. And one thing I also want to add to it, do it in what I would call interval training. Jog for 30 seconds, walk for 30 seconds. And do that consistently, continuously until you finish that half mile or those two
Hmm.
laps. The next time you come and train, jog for 30 seconds,
I love it.
rest for 20 seconds. So you want to decrease the amount of time that you rest until you're able to jog those two laps without taking a rest, without taking a break.
Mm. And I know we're talking a lot about cardio versus resistance training, and I know we've gone on for some time, but this is such valuable information that people we're really putting people on the right track on taking care of their bodies from a weightlifting and cardio. So I know that we want to start closing this out, but I do want to get your recommendation between cardio versus weightlifting, who's going to win it out or who are going to do more of, or what's your big recommendation as the drum roll goes?
Drum roll, please. Drum roll,
Yes.
please. Guys, both. You have to do both weight training and cardio training. You have to have both in your regimen on a weekly basis. So
Mm,
both are needed. You can't have one without the other. You just can't be this runner with no muscle tissue, and you got to get your family out of some danger, or you got to do some things that requires you to have strength. And you can't be this big, burly, strong guy that has no endurance and that can't run. A real quick story, fighters that are in my sector that are smaller guys, they like big, muscular guys because they just sit there and wait till you wear out so they can
yes.
take advantage of you. And guys, I'm just being honest with you, big guys, it's very embarrassing to get mauled or demolished by smaller guys. And I'm telling you, these smaller guys love that. So you see it all. We see it all the time in the UFC and the MMA and stuff like that. These smaller guys with this endurance can really outdo this bodybuilder that doesn't know the mechanics. So you got to have some cardio. And I would suggest in this, the best way I can say this is you have to exercise in a hybrid fashion.
Mm,
So you have to be versed in all aspects,
okay.
lift weights and cardio. You have to have both.
Are you alternating them? Are you recommending alternating them? Like Monday I do weight training, Tuesday I do cardio, Wednesday I do weight training, Thursday I do cardio, or some combination of 3-2, 3-3 each week? What do you
My
think?
my person, sure. My personal regimen is I lift weights And after I lift, I do cardio.
Oh, so you do it on the same day then?
I do it on the same day. I do it on
I
the
do
same
that
day.
as well. I'll do my cardio and then I'll do my weightlifting.
Sure, because on those rest days, I want to just be rest. I don't want to get up
Yes,
and say,
yes.
okay, look,
That's
I want
so
to sleep.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I don't do anything on Tuesday then, right? You're like, I'm gonna do my cardio and my weight training on Monday. I'm gonna let my body rest on Tuesday and then I'll get back to it again on Wednesday or Thursday, rest again, and go back to it again, right? But
Absolutely.
that gives us more time or how to maximize our time throughout the week with all the other things that you had said that life demands of us. So now I'm being able to be smart and plan my workout routines with cardio and weight training.
Guys, life is always lifing.
I like it.
Life is always life. And so if you get into a place, if you start a regimen that is overwhelming time wise, your mind is going to figure out how to X that out. Look, I can't do this. I gotta, I got some things to do, etc. There's a lot of police officers that have inquired about the program, and these guys are busy. They got families. They have a
Mm,
long, stressful work hours, etc. And a lot of times it's hard for them to find time to exercise. Now, the SWAT guys, the tactical guys, are a little bit different because uh, part of their regimen is exercising. Part of their day, they're gonna be training. But a lot of the police officers, they're not able to get it in. So uh, they can't find that time. They have other responsibilities. They have to be at work or they have to be with the family. So what happens is they actually reduce their chances of being able to work out, and we don't want to do that. We want to make sure, even truck drivers, y'all have the same issues as well. But you want to make sure you get in a situation where, hey, I got an hour to do
mm.
this. I'm in, I'm out. This is a structured regimen that I have, and don't deviate from that. And if you're able to do that, then you're able to retain it. Retention is the most important thing here.
That's good. That's good. And so we've talked about weight training, resistance training. We talked about what you can do in order to get that weight training, resistance training, as well as the benefits. We talked about cardio, the same thing, the exercises that you can do for cardio. Your recommendation is on jogging. And then we talked about the benefits of cardio. And I love your recommendation that you should be doing both. Both are just as important. And your recommendation of doing both of them on the same day so that you can allow your body to rest in between with other days is excellent advice because some people try to go 6, 7 days a week without letting their body rest at all. And we could be tearing it down more than we could be building it up if we're not doing it properly. Right. And if we don't have the professional person or coach to help us do that on a daily basis. Is there anything else that you want to make sure that we understand regarding cardio and strength training or weight training?
One thing I also want to say, guys, if you try to put a regimen like that together, working out 6 days a week, you're going to burn out. You're going to burn out fast, and then you're not going to want to do it. So that's not helping yourself at all. So don't burn out. Stay consistent. Go at a pace, and don't just overload yourself because your body doesn't respond to overloading yourself or overtraining. I always speak against overtraining because you don't develop. And
Mm,
also, Carlos, even before we close it out, I would like to cover stretching.
please,
uh,
let's do that.
I want to cover that as well because that's something that's viable to your workout regimen as well. And
Okay. So let's
so,
talk
so
about stretching then and how important is stretching because we you go out there and you just start running or you just go out there and you just start lifting weights and even after you finish you're like, okay, let me just go take my shower and I'm good to go. So let's talk about stretching and what benefit that has on your body as well.
giving a real quick statistic, according to a Colorado State University study, daily stretching has been shown to increase range of motion, flexibility, and blood flow to the muscle.
Mm,
So there are two types of stretching, and I want the guys to understand this as well. One is called dynamic stretching,
mm-hmm.
and the other is static stretching. Again,
So
dynamic
what's the difference
stretching.
between dynamic and static
Sure.
stretching?
So dynamic stretching. This is one thing that I recommend that you do before the workout. This is controlled movements that prepare your muscles, ligaments, and other soft tissues for performance and safety. In short, this is a stretch that you do while you're moving. So instead of us, just going and just doing, I don't know, just touching your toes or something like that, you're in a motion of going up and down, touching your toes, almost like you're doing like a row, like a back row, while you're standing up, basically. So you're going up and down, up and down. So your body is moving. So it's allowing those ligaments, it's allowing them to stretch out the more and more that you move
Okay,
versus you just going right to it.
got
If
it.
that makes sense, that's considered a dynamic stretch. And I always recommend that you do that stretch before you work out, whether it's weightlifting or whether it's before you're getting ready to do some cardio.
Okay,
Now the second one is static stretching.
right.
Okay, recommend it after the workout. I recommend you do this after your workout. And so static stretching is in which you stand, sit, or lie still and hold a single position for a period of time, up to about maybe 45 seconds. So at that point, you're just basically doing a toe touch. You're standing, you're doing a toe touch, and you sit there and you hold, you count anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds. So I recommend these type of stretches after the workout, after you finish the workout, after you finish the weightlifting, after you finish the cardio.
That's interesting too, because when you see people when they're starting to do their exercises, they're doing the static stretching first. They're touching their toes or they're holding a position for a while instead of that consistent moving, that dynamic movement that you had recommended before. So that's just a change in paradigm. Like, let's do our dynamics before and then do our statics after, correct?
That is correct. So what happens is you allow your ligaments to warm up. If you're going straight into with cold ligaments, you're going straight into doing a static stretch. You can potentially hurt yourself. You can potentially
Mm,
your ligaments are like a rubber band. So you just automatically just pull it. It can potentially snap, but you want to just kind of you're massaging it by the dynamic. You're moving it, you know, outward more and more stretched. If I'm saying that correctly, outward while it's moving, so it allows that ligament to warm up and stretch at the same time versus just going to stretching it while it's cold. So you can increase your
mm.
injuries that way if you do it that way.
Would you even think while you're getting ready to jog, if you start off with a slow walk kind of stretch before you start running, would that be considered a dynamic
Yep.
stretch?
Yes, sir. That is considered a dynamic stretch. Yes, sir. It is.
That's good. I know when I'm getting ready to jog, I will do an extended amount of walking first, and then I'll also swing my arms some just to start making my body relaxed and pliable and stretchable before I start my jogging. And
Yes.
then once I'm done, I can go because my body is warm now. Now I can go into my weight training and I can start lifting the medicine ball. I can start doing my other weights that I have. And then at the end, I can just sit and I'll stretch my legs and just hold them there. And I'll just twist them or what at the end just to just make sure that I'm cooling down, that I'm just kind of taking care of my body at that point.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
I think my thing, I'm overdo. I think I overdo it though because I like doing it like almost every day. So this has been really good for me to say, okay, it's okay, Carlos, to take a break because I'm very conscientious about like my weight, just how my clothes are fitting, and I want to make sure that I am in my best position and posture, especially as I age and get older. It's extremely important for me that I am very consistent and disciplined in my exercise regimen. So I probably need to just cut back based on this conversation. So thank you for making me accountable for what I need to do in order to be best. So
Listen, this thing can be addictive once you really get into it. It's addictive.
yeah,
and you want to do it every day, but it's a science behind this. This is a science, so you always got to follow the science, or you will start to have a decline. I had a
Mhm.
client, years ago, and she would train outside of the program that I had. She would train every single day, and she stopped. She got to a place. She got to a plateau. She's like, Coach, I'm not gaining any muscle. I'm not losing any weight. What's going on? I said, take a whole week off. And she looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, yep, take a whole week off. Don't do anything. Go rest.
You're like, I'm losing my mind because I'm supposed to be doing this every day.
Yeah, it was a short circuit with her. Right, my coach is telling me to not do
Yes.
anything. I said, no, I don't show up in my camps. Don't do anything by yourself. Rest for a week. And Carlos,
Mm.
what happened was she rested. She did as I asked. She rested for that week. We got back in the regimen. She stopped doing workouts on her own, just on the training days that we had. On those other days, she rested. And when it came back to the next measurements and weigh-ins the next month, she lost weight. She lost weight. She gained muscle tissue. The body changed. The body, if you give it the science, if you follow the science, your body will respond to it positively. So yeah, definitely want to say that it always has to be balanced, 100%.
Wonderful. Did you cover benefits of stretching though?
I didn't. I'm gonna cover that real
Let's do
quick.
that
I
and then
think
we'll
yeah,
close out. We'll close out
sure.
after you give us the benefits of stretching. There's just one thing that I wanted to communicate after you do the benefits of stretching.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So real quick, guys, the benefits of stretching: improve your performance in physical activities. Carlos and I, we spoke about that. You're going to decrease your risk of injuries. I spoke about that as well, as far as the ligaments are concerned. Help your joints move through their full range of motion. Carlos was explaining that, how he starts out his jogging. Increase muscle blood flow. Enable your muscles to work most effectively, and improve your ability to do daily activities. Those are all the
Mm,
benefits of stretching.
yeah. Well, I know that if I'm getting ready to with that benefits of stretching, and I know how important it is, I will, like after I get out of the shower or if I'm getting ready, I will do these mobility exercises like stand on one feet and for a long period of time, stand on the other feet for a long period of time, or just try to put on my clothes with one feet in the air just to improve my mobility and my stamina as well as just my balance and what that looks like. And that stretching, it really does help. It pays off to be able to do that and be able to have that mobility, that strength, and that confidence that you need that I'm not going to fall and can't get up. Yeah, it's just that's important to me. And so you talked about following the science, which is great. I think we need that. And for me too, I love not only the science, but I love the spiritual side of it too. So I want to close by just giving them this one scripture here that I think would be very beneficial. And it really locks us into what we talked about today, Stan. And it's coming from Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11. It says, for the moment, all discipline seems painful for the moment rather than pleasant, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. So yes, it may hurt you in the moment or just in the beginning where, oh God, I got to mentally prepare myself to go out and get cardio and resistance training. Oh, my body is hurting right now. Oh my God, I got to keep doing this every day or every other day just to make sure that I'm on it. And I got to do the right things to make sure I maximize my body. And that is just for the moment. It seems unpleasant. It seems that it's not working. But if you stay consistent, you stay disciplined, it will yield its fruit. You will start to see your body change. You will start to see your body get stronger. You will see your heart, feel your heart, understand your heart getting stronger, less ailments that are happening, maybe coming off of some of your meds that if you're on meds and being strong enough to be able to open that can of peaches that you can. It's just so many benefits to you exercising, doing your cardio as well as your strength and conditioning training, and don't forget the stretching. All of those things are working together for your good. That's all I had to say. And Stan, before you close out, I want to give you the last comment.
Guys, out of everything that we talked about today, focus on being consistent. Consistency is law.
Mhm.
That's all I have.
Wonderful. So thank you all for tuning in to this podcast series on the Maximized Man. We talked about weightlifting versus cardio and included stretching into that. So please follow us on Facebook, Instagram at Men's Power Connect. Buy Coach Stan Maddox's book, Make Me Healthy, Make Me Happy, and then support Rehab and Beyond. Go to their website, and it's rehabandbeyond.org. Go there, check out what they're doing. They're doing some amazing things for the community and for those injured patients as well as their extended families. So, again, go out, encourage another brother, and peace out. You
Stay
good,
strong,
Coach?
guys.
All right.